Hello, welcome to Kitchen Basics 101, where I teach you the bare bone basics as if you have never cooked a day in your life from the perspective of a mom. Today I'm making lemon pepper chicken with Orzo. It's another creator's recipe, so I'm gonna definitely tag that creator here. We are not stealing recipes from each other. A quick talk about chicken. I do a lot of chicken breasts. These are chicken breasts. And this recipe, we're gonna use chicken thighs. Now people have asked me like, how do you buy meat? Where do you buy meat? How do you choose meat? I'm gonna get a lot of different opinions on this. Me personally, I don't like vacuum sealed meat. I feel like it's like slimy no matter how fresh it is. I just don't like when they vacuum seal meat, even though I'm sure that is like a fresher way to keep it fresh. I prefer like a refrigerated pack like this. The breast and the thigh has more fat and therefore is considered more tender, more flavor. So for this application, we're gonna use it. 99% of the time I cook breasts though. I think it's just easier, although they have a tendency to dry out. So that's a real risk. A lot of people ask me why I didn't rinse the meat. I'm gonna be honest, for pretty much my whole life, I've always rinsed the meat, but I did some research after TikTok roasted me for rinsing the meat, and they're actually right. All it really does is spread bacteria. We're gonna cook this meat. So spreading a little water on it is certainly not going to change whether it has bacteria or not, but definitely cooking it will make the difference. Most foodborne illnesses is actually from salad, bagged salad or unwashed veggies, because you don't cook them. So the original recipe called for 4 thighs and I have 6 here, but let's be honest, I'm not gonna save those other 2 thighs for anything. So what I'm gonna do is just probably bump up the Orzo and bump up the chicken stock, but recipes like this are very forgiving. So step 1, I'm gonna sprinkle liberally with lemon pepper seasoning. I'm doing it in the pan, but I'm gonna scoop all this up onto the chicken. You're gonna wanna do both sides. So I'm just going to roll the chicken around in this pan and scoop up all those seasonings and flip them over so I can season the other side. But we don't want too much of the seasoning just laying on the bottom of the pan here. So I'm just gonna scoop it all up. Now every single seasoning blend is different. I've said this before. So different brands have different ratios. This one has a good amount of salt, so I'm not going to add any salt to this dish. But you need to check your seasoning blend and see if there's salt in it. Okay, liberally seasoning the other side. Yum. I set the chicken aside on a paper towel, and I'm gonna go get this pan scorching hot and add some oil. Put the chicken in away from ourselves. So if the oil splashes, it splashes on you guys and not on me. I don't think it matters which side, but I'm gonna do them all one side down, and then I will flip them so I know who's flipped and who's not flipped. Get my oil over here. My oven is not perfectly, or my stove is not perfectly level. You want to make sure you use a big pan for this so that you have plenty of room. If we want to get a nice sear, we're not trying to steam. This is I think a 12 or a 10-inch frying pan. And lock it over here. If it's popping, back up from it, right? Okay, this is what we're looking for. We want a little crust. We could go even a little further than this, crust-wise. Hard to tell on camera. I'm gonna flip them over. Now, because of the residual cooking, they are not gonna need as long on the other side as they needed on this side. Okay, so the first side, I would say that was 3 or 4 minutes. Second side will be less time. The chicken's not gonna be cooked all the way through. We're gonna be adding it to chicken stock and Orzo for it to finish cooking, okay? We're just basically like browning it and cooking it maybe like halfway, 3/4 of the way, okay? Just wanted to give you a little better look of it in the pan, okay? Now see how we have all these like little burnt bits and oil that's at the bottom of the pan? This is incredible flavor that we have developed. So when we put the chicken stock in here to deglaze and the Orzo, we're just gonna pick all these flavors up so nothing gets lost. That's why this type of cooking is so incredibly flavorful. Remember, you can always add seasoning, but you can't take it away. So if you go like too ham crazy, right, you want to season significantly because this has to season the pasta and everything else. But if you go too ham crazy, you can't back out of it, right? So don't get too ham crazy. We're going to take the chicken out, we're going to lower the heat, and we're going to deglaze That's what this term is called. Deglaze the pan with chicken stuff. All that means is we're going to put liquid in here and we're going to scrape up all these bits because they have incredible flavor, okay? And we're going to create like a sauce out of it that we're a couple cloves of garlic in here. But you need to have your stock ready because this garlic, especially if you use the frozen garlic that I use, which I freaking love. If they want to send me some, I'd love them. It's minced so finely, it's basically like grated, it cooks up super fast and it's going to sputter all over. So we're going to put a couple cloves. Each one of these little blocks is a clove. So let's go like 4, 5. We're making pasta, so okay. And we're just going to toss that around in the pan for a minute till they break up. But do not burn this, okay? So don't do it for very long. It's fragrant. So now I'm going to add the chicken stock. This is 4 cups in here. The recipe calls for 2 cups. So we're going to eyeball that. I'm also going to get a wooden spoon to scrape up the bits here. I'm going to maybe use a little more because I told you I have a couple extra chickens. I'll do 3 cups. Because like I said, I have 2 extra chicken thighs. And so I poured off a cup of this to see how good my eyeball was. My eyeball was pretty good. I was about a 1/4 cup off on the chicken stock. So like I said, the original recipe was 2 cups. I'm using 3 cups. Now deglazing, like I said, we're just using a wooden spoon to scrape all those delicious bits that we created off the bottom, incorporate them into the sauce. We're going to bring this up to a simmer. And we're going to add the orzo. The original recipe calls for 1.5 cups of orzo. So I'm just going to measure out of the box to see. This is a 16-ounce box. So that is 1.5 cups. I used extra liquid like I told you. So I'm going to add another. I'm going to add it all. We can always add more chicken stock if we need it. Like whoever said there was too much pasta, it's impossible. All right, now we're gonna add our mostly cooked chicken thighs back into this. Chicken thighs going back in. And when you add the meat back in, whatever plate you put it on, don't forget to pour in those juices. Whatever juices it gave off is so much flavor. Make sure you add it back in, okay? Now let's go hunt up a cover for this. Most 12-inch skillets don't have lids. I bought this universal lid from Amazon. I have it linked in my store. Let's see if it fits. Voila, it fits. Okay, you're going to turn the heat down to low. You're going to simmer this until it gets cooked, but I'll let you know how long that is. I went about 10 minutes. The original creator topped the whole thing with feta and parsley. I just did my individual portion because I have kids. And then I'm going to put a little lemon zest and a little lemon juice. I felt like it needed a little balance, so I added a little acidity. But it's pretty good, pretty tasty.